Good morning. What's up? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode. We're with 329, 330, somewhere around there. I want to talk about All-Star Game this week, but I do want to share, and I'll maybe tomorrow I'll discuss this, but I love listening to other shows. And Brad, Texas Card Dude, uh, and I think he even used this term when he was talking to Ken about challenging, and I think he said Ken challenges his thinking. And so I was watching Brad's show from yesterday, and he brought up something that I really want to. It kind of hit close to home. I could really relate. He was talking about cash flow, and so I want to share a cash flow talk from my personal experience in trying to make money selling cards. And I tried to do it, and I did some ran the numbers back in like 2016 17, and it just didn't work out. But within the last 18 months, all of a sudden things have changed. Now a lot has gone into that. The hobby boom gets most of the credit, but I also kind of adjusted things. And so I want to talk about cash flow and some of the things that I've done so that I'm not working for the money in selling cards. The money's now working for me and how I got to this point. So I'll talk about that tomorrow. And I wrote it on my whiteboard, but today I want to talk about All-Star Game Week because there's just been a lot going on over the last couple days with the festivities. And I just kind of want to share my thoughts and opinions. What's up, Zach? Good morning, Herman. I was up really early this morning, like 4:45. Like I feel completely rejuvenated, and it's really weird because I had, like Herman mentioned yesterday, he was suffering from Hobby Palooza hangover, and I was suffering from. There's Brad. What's up, Brad? I don't know if you may have missed my intro, so go back and listen because I'm gonna talk about cash flow inspired by your video from yesterday. So I was suffering from just a weekend hangover, both literally and figuratively. I think I was still suffering from a beer hangover from Friday, just being at Wrigley Field and in Wrigleyville all day. And then I rested Saturday after driving home, and then I was up super early, 4:15 Sunday morning, on the road at 5. For the Schaumburg card show, and then spent all day there. Just kind of rested up, went to bed early Sunday night. But yesterday, I don't remember the last time I have been as tired as I was all day yesterday. And the weird thing, I mean, I was exhausted. Like I was a zombie. Like I remember in past times being like a complete zombie, getting a lack of, maybe going to a concert or, being out late, and then, just, not from an alcoholic hangover, but just from being out late. That tends, the older I get, I feel worse the next day just staying out late, staying up late, as opposed to, having a few beers and have that, foggy hangover the next day. But I was just a zombie all day yesterday. But I was so productive. Like at work, I was more productive yesterday than I feel like I have been in weeks. And I don't know why, because it was just like you're so exhausted that you're fighting through it and just nose to the grindstone. That's what I was all day. I came home and I laid on the couch, got home from work, laid on the couch, and took a nap. I don't remember. I'm not a big nap guy. I don't remember the last time I've come home from work and taken a nap at 5 p.m. Apparently I needed it. So I woke up, and it was a quick one. It was like a power nap. Woke up maybe 20, 30 minutes later. ate a sandwich, and then was able to listen to Brad's live show last night at 6. Great stuff for the collector he had on. And then watched Herman. I've got to go back and watch the second half of your show because I bounced out and watched the home run derby. So I'll lead into the home run derby. Wow. And Brad mentions here in the chat, Pete Alonso. What a freaking show Pete Alonso put on at Coors Field last night in the home run derby. That was so much fun. 35 home runs in the first round. And then it's like Salvador Perez, like, oh, you don't have a shot. Just sit down. You're done. And he put on a show. He hit, I think, 27. And was that the second most? It was up there. But unfortunately, he had to go against Alonso in that first round. Juan Soto versus Shohei Ohtani. That's what we all came to see, right? And it was kind of a letdown, that matchup. Soto, blasted some, and then Ohtani comes up. And like the first 2 minutes, 90 seconds was just like the worst performance of the night. The first 90 seconds. And it's like, man, Ohtani. This was like people were tuning in to see this, and dribbler, pop-up, liner. It's like, oh, this is terrible. And then they mentioned that he hadn't taken a live pitch from his home run derby pitcher since March. And I don't know. And I guess that's probably common because some of the guys have cousins. I think Pete Alonso brought his cousin out in 2019, the year he won. I know Chris Bryant had his dad pitch to him. Bryce Harper had his dad pitch to him. And Brad brings up a good point about the swing. And that's what I'm always concerned about when players are in the home run derby. Is it going to screw up his swing? And he you could tell he was taking it seriously. And then the pressure was on. Ended up coming back after the first 90 seconds of just absolute, what is this? He came back and tied, and they went into actually 2 sudden deaths. I guess one was an overtime, second one was sudden death. I think part of the blame, and here we are talking about, an exhibition home run derby, but you could tell his pitcher was really forcing it. And I can't remember if this was in the regular round or in the overtime round. But when he was fighting to get to tie or take the lead with 30 seconds left, you could really tell the pitcher was forcing it. And, I think it just wasn't a good matchup, pitcher for batter in Ohtani. So then Soto ended up winning in sudden death, went 3 for 3. In the sudden death round, you get 3 swings. And Soto, in each of his 3 swings, hit a home run. Ohtani steps up and, didn't do anything, didn't hit a home run. So Soto automatically advanced in the sudden death round. So, and then Alonso put out Mancini. Trey Mancini had a great showing in the final, and then Alonso came up and just boom, what a show. I love the new format. So the All-Star game, one thing Major League Baseball is doing right, they do so many things wrong, so I have to give credit when it's due. Good morning, Mark. A couple of years ago, they changed the format for the home run derby. The home run derby used to be a bore. Prior to the change, 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, well, probably 3 years ago now, because I guess we didn't have one last year. It was I just remember getting so excited about it. And then midway through the first round, I was so bored with it in the old format. And it was this is just kind of boring. But now it's timed, and it's not, each round is a fresh start. So there's a new each, and it's a bracket format. So they've done so many things to enhance the home run derby that it's so much more enjoyable. It's so much more competitive. I don't feel like falling asleep, and I watch the whole thing, and it's done by what, 10 o'clock. So I love the home run derby. I've always been a home run derby fan, but I mean, there was times where it's like, this is boring. And, there was a lot of years where it's like, oh yeah, it's the home run derby. I'm not going to pay attention, or I'm just going to tune in here, tune in there. Didn't really pay much attention to it, but with the new format, kudos. It was a lot of fun. And I think last night's was one of the best, if not the best, since they've changed the formats, and probably the best overall. It was just a really fun home run derby. And I really like the way Major League Baseball is now handling All-Star Week. Moving the draft to All-Star Week is just awesome. And I say that partially because of I usually broadcast the high school softball state finals in Illinois, which is the first 2 weekends of June. So I'm usually like nose in notes, getting prepared for the broadcast, that I can't really, watch, pay attention, follow the baseball draft in its previous setting in June. It was usually like I think it started the first Tuesday of June. So I didn't really, and I was, I've always been a huge draft nerd. I have books that were written on the draft. I look at the history. I love everything baseball draft. My friend Scott Nelson, who hung out with on Friday, we were talking about the draft coming up. He was in scouting for the Cubs for decades. And he actually, back in the day, it was just reading off names. So the draft, and they actually started live streaming audio only the draft on MLB.com back in like 2000 or 2001. And it was literally just a guy reading off, each team had their representative read off a name. I've got a Sid Fernandez card in front of me. So it was like the New York Mets with the, 57th selection take. And then there was usually an ID, player 7, 8, 9, 10, 0, 2, 1, Sid Fernandez, Honolulu, Hawaii. And so Scott was telling me he was the guy he was the Chicago Cubs representative who read off the names for the baseball draft. And they didn't start the ID until later on, like probably the internet age, because there were many players with the same name. So sometimes you would read off a name, Sid Fernandez, we take him with the 102nd pick, and it's like, Sid Fernandez was selected with the 57th pick. So that was some insight that I didn't know about the draft. So I'm a huge draft nerd. So I love that they moved it back, because the beginning of June for me, and again, this is being selfish, the first week of June is always, no matter if I wasn't broadcasting the softball finals this year, and it was still like a super busy time for me. So the All-Star break, it's kind of a slower time period for me personally. So it was kind of nice to have that on Sunday night. I was able to watch. I turned it off after the Cubs picked 21st, so I turned it off shortly after they picked. But then I can follow it the rest of this week. So I'm going to go back to the chat here. Mark's not watching the home run derby or the All-Star game. Herman's not watching the All-Star game. Zach says, I wouldn't watch if nothing for P. We watch the Pro Bowl too. Ooh, see, the Pro Bowl is something that I have zero interest in, the NFL Pro Bowl. Herman says, I normally watch, but going to be salty this year since they pulled it from Atlanta. The video of Bo getting drafted is a phone call and someone recording a phone. So that would have been 1985, 86 when Bo Jackson was drafted. I wanted to watch Pete Alonso. I don't get to very often. So I love that the draft was pushed back Sunday night. Now, I was thinking about this morning. It seems now that the draft has been pushed back, now they've really bunched Sunday, the All-Star game Sunday, because there's still baseball on Sunday. Like the regular season is still being played on Sunday, but now they have the futures game, which used to be, I think that was the Sunday primetime slot for All-Star week, because there's no night games. They're all day games on Sunday for the regular season. And then so the nightcap, the Sunday night baseball, was the futures game. And then of course you have the home run derby on Monday night. You have the All-Star game on Tuesday night. And then of course Wednesday is travel day, and it's the worst day in sports because there's nothing going on. What are they have the ESPYs, something crappy like that is on Wednesday night. So so now it's kind of all like jammed together. So the futures game is like butted up against regular baseball and the draft. So it's kind of squeezing. And I'm like, would it be better to have the draft like start on Wednesday and go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? But then it's like, well, part of it is, you get the kids there with the All-Star players. So how about moving the futures game to Wednesday night? And I think maybe that would work. I hate having the futures game butted up, just kind of like, well, that and I get because of the ratings, because the draft is going to bring more ratings than the futures game. And I know some people that want to watch the baseball, and the young guys, they're going to say, oh, no, I'm going to watch the futures game. But overall, for ratings, the draft is going to, even if it's baseball and there's still a slower following for the baseball draft, because it takes years for these guys to actually get to the pro teams. It's only been televised for 10 years now. So it's a slow growth for the baseball draft, but still, with that said, it's still going to garner higher ratings than the futures game. So do you push the futures game out to Wednesday, or do you just kind of leave it, in no man's land on Sunday? So, but then again, they're probably paying, and here I'm playing devil's advocate with myself. They're, paying for travel for the kids, the futures game kids, and, they want everybody out Wednesday. So that's like the travel day, get back to your seasons. So I don't know. I'm glad I'm not in charge of trying to push all of these events into 3 days. But I like it. Now, the All-Star game itself, I'll have it on in the background, but I'll probably just be down here shipping. Now, the home run derby is must-see TV. I left here and went into the room and watched the home run derby. The All-Star game, I'll probably watch, the introductions, the first pitch. Ohtani is the starter and leading off and as the DH. So I will watch the first inning. But then the rest of the game, I really don't have any interest. And I'll just, be down here. I'll have it on in the TV and I can kind of see it from my spot here. But I won't. It's not a must-see event for me. Brad says they have Texas Rangers games on Wednesday night. Texas Rangers. No, is there games on Wednesday night? I thought Wednesday was an off day, and then Thursday begins. But everything's changed, so I guess I don't know the schedule now. Zach says we are the money demo. It would be awesome. And my MLB app is set to the Cleveland Indians because it's a shared account with my fantasy baseball. So the guy's is a Indians fans. Okay, so here we go. So Wednesday. No, there's no scheduled games on Wednesday. And there's only one game on Thursday. The Red Sox and Yankees play on Thursday, and then everybody's back on Friday. So the games are so bad no one watches. So last night, as I was watching the home run derby, I was I'm sorting Olympics cards. I think that's all I wanted to talk about All-Star Game Week. So I was sorting. I have from a cheap purchase I bought a couple years ago. Actually, I think I picked it up as I was the same weekend as I was driving down for broadcasting softball state finals. I picked it up in Bloomington, Illinois. I among that was a bunch of like non-sports, Olympics cards. So I've been sorting frantically and putting basically sorting into players, I guess athletes, sorting into athletes, these Olympic cards. And I'm starting to see, and I have some of the cards are listed. Clarissa Shields, because she's now into like MMA. She was, I think, a boxer. And these are all 2016 Olympics cards, and God, there's probably 8,000. And I know when I was sorting the Clarissa Shields, there was like 175 base cards. So there's around the same for all of them, except for the money players, the money athletes, I should say, Simone Biles and Michael Phelps. So I think it's a 150 card set. Zach just asked, any Biles? No Biles. So I think out of 150 cards, I have 148 of the 150 athletes. So no Simone Biles, no Michael Phelps. Megan Rapinoe sells really well. I've been moving Abby Wambach, some Allie Raisman. Some of the Shields have sold because she had a fight a couple weeks ago. Who else is in there? Elena Della Don, Maya Moore, Candace Parker, Gabby Douglas, Missy Franklin. So some of those athletes. So I'm just kind of getting prepared for, if somebody all of a sudden becomes a name, but I'm starting to see more and more of these sell on eBay. So I did list a batch. I sorted a bunch. I'm going to put a whole bunch in. I'm going to probably put, 3,000. Probably devote one box for my card show on July 24th, since that hits right ahead of the Olympics. So I'll have a full, probably 3 or 4 row box filled with Olympics cards for $0.25 a pop. And then I'll be doing, singles. So I listed like 10 because I didn't get too many sorted. So I listed like 10 each of a stack of maybe 20 athletes. So I put those on eBay last night. I put some Pete Alonso's and Trey Mancini on eBay last night. Cam Johnson, who had that amazing dunk in the NBA Finals, Game 3 the other night. I had from the basketball rookie box, I had pulled about 75 Cam Johnson rookies. So I listed a bunch of those. So that was what I was doing during the Home Run Derby, doing some eBay listings. So I'm kind of looking forward to the Olympics, just to, if one of these athletes from the 2016 set, pops out. I don't know. Some of them are kind of on the older spectrum, older for the Olympic spectrum. And I don't even think, are, going to be competing like Ryan Lochte. Now in 2016, that would have been probably a good card to flip, but, I don't think he's swimming anymore. I think maybe is he acting? I don't know. So that's what I was doing last night. So that's what I had for today. Just wanted to talk about All-Star Game Week. I'll turn it back around to what I started the show with. I do want to do a show, and maybe tomorrow I'll dedicate the show about cash flow and Lochte is trash. And the cash flow conversation is inspired by something Brad was talking about in yesterday's show on his channel, on Texas Card Dude channel. And it really kind of, a lot of it, reminded me of when I was starting to sell and take selling cards seriously in 2016, 2017, and some of the mistakes and missteps I made in trying to, in not maximizing profits in selling cards. But I've been able to, in the last year and a half, with many thanks to the hobby boom that did have a lot to do with it, but just also making more calculated decisions based on cash flow. And, I like using the term, I was working for the money. Now the money is working for me, and I have more latitude. I guess I could say more latitude in making more calculated decisions, and also calculated risk. in card purchases and some of the things that I can, use that money toward. So just I can explain the missteps that I made a few years ago and what I learned from those mistakes, and how I've turned it around and changed things up regarding cash flow selling cards. So thanks for tuning in. Does the winning league in the All-Star game still determine who gets home field advantage? Yes. And I think that's stupid. I I just wish the World Series home field advantage was determined on win-loss record. Like, I know it's two different leagues, but we now have interleague play. You're going to get me on a soapbox, Zach. Why can't the win-loss record be the determining factor in home field advantage for the World Series instead of an exhibition game where managers try to get every player in the game and it's not a true competitive game. And they used to do what it used to rotate, like National League this year, American League the next year. Let's just do the best team based on win-loss record. We have interleague play, so it's not like the National League is only playing the National League and the American League is only playing the American League, so we need to make it fair. We now have interleague play, and we've had it for 20 years now, 25 years. So just do it on win-loss record. You could thank Selig's tie for that. Yeah. That was just, that was an abomination. So, I think, and yeah, so the winning league in the All-Star game now determines the home field advantage in the World Series. I think that's garbage. I think it should be win-loss record. So that's my thoughts on that. Have a great Tuesday. I will be back live tomorrow morning, same time, 6:45. Have a great one, and we'll talk tomorrow.